to Going to IEU Podcast. I am your host, Veronica, and today we are joined by the lovely Irais Souto, Head of Global Markets. Welcome, Irais, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Veronica. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really honored to be here.
And we are honored to have you here. So could you please explain to our listeners today a bit about what is the Global Markets team and what are your roles? How does it work? What are some of your goals?
Of course, I'm happy to do that. So the Global Markets team is part of the recruitment team at IE University, right? And basically what we do is we are the international network of offices that IE has in different countries around the world. So basically what we do, and Veronica, I want to put this as easy as possible for you and our listeners, we look for talent. Basically what we do is we look for talent to come to IE University and do our programs, different programs, undergraduate, master's, executive education programs. But that's basically like very long story short, what we do.
Oh, that's lovely. I mean, I assume it's very rigorous as I'm assuming, how many offices do you guys have around?
Yeah, we have around 30 offices.
Wow.
And covering all time zones, which is very, very interesting. So in Latin America, we have 7 offices. We have in Colombia, in Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Brazil, Mexico. Those are our offices there. In North America, we have 3 offices in the U.S., one in Los Angeles, New York, and Miami. And then we also have Canada in Toronto. In Europe, we have in Germany and the Netherlands and the UK, Portugal, France, Italy, and we have an office in Armenia. And in Middle East and Africa, we have in the UAE, in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia, and South Africa, and Nigeria. And in Asia Pacific, we have India, Singapore, Japan, and China, where we actually have 2 offices, one in Beijing and one in Shanghai.
Nice.
But this is sort of, you can see that we're really covering the full scope of the globe. And yeah, that's where the team is based.
Nice. I mean, definitely you guys are very dispersed, and that's a great opportunity for IE University and for candidates alike who are interested to get in touch with you guys and, learn about you guys, about the different talents of the upcoming students, but also students to learn more about their university values and what they can gain from this experience. Yeah.
And, Veronica, this is very interesting because we've been through COVID and through globalization and, we know how far the digital world can actually take us today, right? So we can know about anything, anywhere in the world, basically just going online and figuring things out, right? But truth is, when it comes, down to making a life decision and trying to learn who to trust and which institution, which university to trust your education, your future, your career, not only candidates, but also parents, right? To really trust their kids
Definitely.
To an institution. When it comes down to that, building that trust and really understanding what you are looking for and how we can help you, the human touch is irreplaceable. And that's basically what we've seen, being able to speak to someone in your own time zone, in your own language, even. It helps so much more. It helps make the candidates and the parents and their families' life so much easier in this process that is already complicated and difficult.
Yes.
Of finding the right university for you. So that's what our offices do. That's what the team and the offices, provide our candidates with. And that's why we feel so connected with our purpose. It's really, cool to be part of that moment in life where you're making such an important decision and be able to help you there. So, yeah.
No, I can imagine it's such an honor from your perspective that not only are you helping a student or upcoming student at such an integral milestone of their life where they are deciding, where do I study? What do I do for the rest of my life? And it can be very stressful. I remember when I was applying, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Exactly.
And having this availability of all the different offices dispersed all over the world is certainly going to help facilitate that process. And I completely agree with you, the importance of having those human connections, because you can look at a website of any type of university and it can be confusing as well. So it's nice to kind of have that human element to kind of help guide you through your process and not only help you connect more with what the community is about and if you feel like you will be a right fit, but also understanding that the university that is trying to recruit you is out looking for your best interest.
Absolutely. And it all comes down to this personalized advice, right? So in the end, when you're looking for something, that when you're looking for a university, for a career, you're looking for something that is going to fit you, your interests, what you want to do, how you see yourself in the future, right? So it comes down to you, and we want to make it as personal as possible. So we really want to, and what we do in the offices is we ensure that that journey, that process of decision-making, the journey of the application process and all that it entails, that it's really about you. It's really about, the candidate, and putting the candidate in the center and really understanding what they need and providing that personalized advice and guidance throughout the entire process.
100%. I mean, you've already kind of briefly touched upon a question I had for you, which was why should a candidate reach out to their nearest IE office? And as you mentioned, it's very important to have that local connection because, at least in my example, and maybe you can help me, for students who have a similar situation, I'm originally from Venezuela. But at the time that I was applying, I was residing in Switzerland in boarding school. And then my parents were also living in Saudi. So I was kind of all over the place. And in terms of reaching out to an IE office, it seemed daunting at times to be which one can tailor or offer me the best services for my current situation.
Yeah. It's amazing, how people just change and they switch from one country to another, and they study here, but they live here. Their parents live there, but they were born elsewhere.
The typical IE profile.
The typical IE profile, and I think that we're seeing more and more of that. And basically, what we always want is that the candidate reaches out to the office that is closest to the place they're actually living in currently. So, for example, in your case, right, you're Venezuelan, you were born in Venezuela, your parents living in Saudi Arabia, and you were studying high school in Switzerland. Well, for you, maybe the closest, option was to reach out to our office in Germany because they're the ones regularly going to Switzerland, doing events there, visiting schools there, and they were the ones to really be able to support you. Of course, your parents also want to have that support, and that's also where the office comes in. And we, in our offices, we speak to people from different nationalities where the parents are based where, in a different place. And that really doesn't matter. We want to make it as seamless and as easy for the candidate and the families to speak to someone and to get IE closer to them. That's it's about, IE University is based in Madrid and Segovia, but we want to bring IE University closest to you so that you can really understand what IE University offers and what the IE University community looks like locally, right?
Yes.
So this is very important. So when you ask me, why should a candidate reach out to their local office? It's because it will help them better understand IE, right? Our offices bring the university closer to them. Okay, allow them to experience, even events and meet people in the local IE community. Sometimes, parents don't necessarily speak English the way the candidate does, and they need that support in their local language. So, it's really about IE coming closer to you and being able to really cover the candidate, the family's needs.
No, 100%. And as we touched upon now, it's all about the personalization of that specific candidate's profile and how to best assist them throughout this process. And I was a bit curious in what are some recommendations for you giving to candidates about how they can get in touch with their local IE international offices.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Veronica. On our website, university.ie.edu, we have a section that's about news and events, right? And there is a section it says visit us, right? And basically what we can do there and what the candidate has access to there is to information about our international offices, their address, email address, how to reach out to them, where are they based. They can also access a chat, right, where they can actually speak to IE staff or even IE current students, right?
Yes.
So it depends. We offer different ways of reaching out to us because in the end we understand every person is different. Okay, so not everyone is going to pick up the phone and call, right? Not everyone is going to send an email and, sit down on the computer, send an email.
Be super proactive.
Exactly. And we even get reached out through, Instagram and DMs, right? So, and that's fine. What we really want to make sure is that, we are speaking to the candidate through the platform that is easiest for them or that is, closest to them. So if someone wants to get in touch with an IE International office, is just, again, navigate our website and news and events. There's a Visit Us part where you can find all the information about our international offices and also how to visit campus. So, yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, from my experience, I'm more of the traditional email contact and using the websites, but I do find it very particular and unique that the university allows that kind of direct contact between the candidate and the IE University as a whole through these different social media platforms, as you mentioned, Instagram, which I find so bizarre, but it's a communication platform, and kind of leading them in second way, recommending them more into the actual university platform where they can have more readily accessible information, as you mentioned, talking to students. And how you mentioned also this is all available and it's at the tips for the candidates. So they, instead of getting overwhelmed with the amount of information offered to them, you are able to guide them into the respective information that they're exactly looking for. And I remember from my experience, it was really nice to have that tailored experience because sometimes you have a very unique and specific question and you don't want to be led to the typical website. It's who are we? These are our values. Yeah. You want your question to be answered so you're making the best decision possible.
Exactly. And navigating websites is always, difficult. And our website is actually really good. We receive a lot of good feedback and positive comments about our website. In the end, it's a lot of information. We need to make it, build it in a way that we can navigate it easily and candidates can navigate it. But there's always, how can I get that specific answer that I'm looking for? And they're a person that can help you navigate not only our website, but also the entire institution, the different programs offering, the whole application process. That's always helpful.
No, of course. And you already briefly touched upon this, how in the website we have access to, or students have access to communicate directly with different university students who are studying a plethora of different degrees, but also staff members, more specifically faculty members, that if they have any insights or questions about the program that they're interested in looking for, I understand that there's a chat box that they can directly message somebody and get this information.
Yeah, there's a chat bot. And of course, that it can be a chat. It's not a chat bot because it's not a bot who's responding. It's an actual person. It's a chat. But again, as I said, there's so many different ways of reaching out to the office. In fact, once a candidate actually shows interest in IE and they go into one of our websites and they leave their information, they're going to be contacted by the closest office. Hey, I'm here. I'm Irais. I'm here to help you with the decision process. So, anything you need from me, I'm here. So we proactively reach out to them because we want to make sure that we are letting them know what kind of service we can provide. So.
No, for sure. And I'm a bit curious in that proactive approach. Do you guys directly link prospective candidates to a faculty member that they're able to contact, or do you believe that's something more coming from the candidate themselves that has to reach out for that information?
It depends on what the candidate is interested in. And it also depends on at what stage they are in that decision process. Because, if you're just looking at the university and all of a sudden I offer you to speak to a professor, you're probably going to be intimidated, right? It's I'm not sure if this is what I want to do right now. So, but maybe if you have already been admitted to the university and you're just in a final decision process, maybe there you want to speak to a faculty or vice dean or whatever, right? So again, it depends on what stage, and every candidate is different, Veronica. This is very important, and with the team, we work on this every day, not only with our international offices, but with our full recruitment team, also based here in Madrid. We've built this very candidate-centric model where we put the candidate in the center, and we understand that every candidate is unique, and that what they need is unique, and that the journey that they're going to go through, not only while they're applying or making the decision about coming to IE, but also once they're studying and then once they graduate, that journey is going to be different for every single candidate. So it's about really, listening to the candidate. What does the person need? How can we really help them and not just overwhelm them with, I can do this for you, I can do that, I can give you this, I can provide that. It's more about what do you need and how can I help you in the different stages that you're going to go through.
No, definitely. And I'm sure apart from myself, but also our listeners are very grateful for that and not getting that amalgamation of information, which, as you mentioned, is very daunting, but also it can lead to a lot of fatigueness, especially when you're trying to decide something as important as what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
So you briefly touched upon about the different events that the candidates can attend at the university or the different campuses. Could you elaborate more about what are the offerings that they can do and they can learn more about the campus as a whole?
Yes. So we have imagine 5,000 events that we do on a yearly basis worldwide. For all different types of candidates, profiles, and different programs and different topics, right? So we cover, technology and data and leadership and management, finance, overall business, entrepreneurship, many law, architecture and design, right? So we cover many topics in these different events that we do worldwide. And it's definitely a great opportunity for candidates to go to a masterclass or an admissions workshop or, a financial aid session or a general info session, right, about IE University. And those events, they take place every day. We have at least 5 or 6 events, happening in different parts of the world. And those are definitely, ones I recommend. So definitely someone who's interested in, I want to meet IE, and maybe you don't have an office in your city, but IE is going to your city at some point in time. So, I definitely recommend that people attend. Someone who's interested in IE attend those events, and you can register through our website to those events, right? But then we also have the events that happen on campus. Okay, so at some point in your journey, usually candidates want to come see the campus, and there are different ways of doing that. One is digital again. You can go and do our virtual campus tour, right? Which is, really cool. It gives you an idea. It really allows you to get a feeling of our campus. Or they can actually come to Madrid and Segovia. We have every week 9 meet and tours, what we call meet and tour.
Wow.
9. So it's 6 in the IE Tower, where we're right now at the IE Tower here in Madrid, and 3 in Segovia. And people can even arrange it in a way that they can visit both campuses on the same day, right? So that's one thing. So the meet and tours, so those are the ones that are scheduled. But if at any point in your journey, you want to come to Madrid or to Segovia and see the campus, we arrange also more, tailor-made visits to the campuses. And then the other thing is we have open house, right? The open house where people can, candidates and their families can come to campus, and we have master classes, financial aid sessions, general info sessions. People can meet and interact with people from different teams, academic team, financial aid, student services, all the different departments that work in providing this service at campus life, right? Mm-hmm. So providing service to our candidates and later students. So those are like the ways to actually come to campus. And we get a lot of people. Just let me share, Veronica, we had this past weekend, we had our open house event, and we had 247 people joining the campus in Madrid and 126 our campus in Segovia. Imagine what that means in terms of, networking opportunities and opportunities to meet other people who are in the same process that you are, and that, are in this, in the same, lifetime,
exactly.
And they're not only from Spain. So with the numbers I'm giving you, we had 130 people coming from outside of Spain.
That's amazing.
To visit our campuses. So this is important. They need to come and touch and see. And again, the human touch and the personal touch is important. So yeah.
No, those numbers are incredible, and it definitely testifies the importance of having these type of events for, as you mentioned, something that was very important for me when I was applying the networking opportunity, not only to get to know the different offices, but also on the more personal element, you can start to already build upon friendships before you enter university,
Absolutely.
which I can understand for, our listeners and for candidates who are entering their first years. It can be very scary and intimidating when you're just starting out and you have no clue of how the campus looks like or how to get by. There's a lot of nerves already happening that first week, but it's incredible that people are actually taking advantage of these resources and able to, extract from this application process and this tailored experience that IE University is offering to the best that they can to get the best resources and at the end of the day, the best outcome that they can get throughout their whole experience, as you mentioned, that you follow them from the beginning phase until all the way to finally, becoming an IEU student.
And even Veronica, if it's interesting because when we're doing these open houses, we have candidates who are in their senior year of high school, but we also have candidates who are in their junior year. We even have candidates who are in their sophomore year. So they're just in the initial phase of seeing, okay, what are the universities I'm thinking of applying to? So, it's what I'm trying to say here is if you are, thinking about this university choosing process that's in 3, 2, next year happening for you, and you need that support, reach out because we are there to provide, all the different opportunities for getting to know IE, but also that network and engaging with our local office. One of the things we do, Veronica, in those offices is we do events specifically for students who are admitted and already enrolled before they come to Madrid so that they can meet.
That's amazing.
Okay, and already start networking and meeting other people that are coming to IE University, not only for candidates, but also for parents. And parents love that because they don't feel so alone in that process of sending your kid off to, a university elsewhere. So that's one example of an event that we do. We call them send-offs events. And that's just one, it's just one example of how we make this journey seamless and easier for the candidate.
No, and that's very important, that the thing that you mentioned, that you're not only actively reaching out to seniors in high school, but also candidates who are interested in learning more about the university. And even though they have a couple of years until they graduate, they're already proactively looking for these experiences, and the fact that you're able to tailor to them. And then on the other aspect, you're able to offer, and at the end of the day, give this sense of community, camaraderie, and comfort to parents who, I understand if it's their first child or at whatever point they're sending their child at the end of the day to university, and they're putting that trust in the university to bring them the best service offerings to their children. And It's amazing that not only are you reaching out to the candidates, which, yes, they're very important, but it's also, okay, before you're even a candidate and you want to know about that university, we are here to help you.
Yes.
If you are a parent or a guardian of a candidate, this is how we can tailor our services to help assist you. And I remember from my experience, I have an older sister who's also studying in the architecture and design school, and I was studying BBA. And my dad knew about the master's because of Saudi Arabia and the very heavily invested offices. So it was amazing how when we would discuss amongst ourselves the IE experience, there was always one reach and common place where I felt that I was actually listened to, despite having all those different experiences of how, we are being supported.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and what you're mentioning is an easy, we say it very fast, but it's a lot of work for a lot of people. So when I'm talking about, putting the candidate in the center and being able to respond to their actual needs and unique needs, this is not only something that happens in the office, of course, it happens in the offices, but there's a whole recruitment team that based here in Madrid, that also provide that to grants. So it's a whole team, putting the candidate in the center and really paying attention to their needs. We're talking about financial aid, funding opportunities for candidates. We're talking about student services, the team that helps candidates land in Madrid or in Segovia with the residents and understand their next process, their next steps in that process of moving to Spain. So it's a whole, it's a big group of people that are here for the candidates. So it's interesting. It's really, fun to be part of this team, really.
No, and you can definitely, I can feel from the energy here that you guys are definitely passionate about bringing the best experience to candidates.
We are.
And it's a wonderful segue to my next question, which is how the IE offices, you briefly touched upon previously, but perhaps if you could be more specific in how they can help out throughout the different stages of the application process. Because, of course, you are recruiting and helping out students know of the university and the community and what we're offering, but also once they're applying, how you can assist them throughout that process.
Yeah. So we help them understand what the process entails, what the requirements are. We provide, recommendations, suggestions, and sometimes we have specific events for the admissions process, like, do's and don'ts of an application, application workshops. So how do you craft your CV, right, when you're applying to a university, for example? And these are things that are going to be important for the candidate, not only in their application for IE, but, even for their application to other universities, right? In the end, it's about how do I put myself out there when applying to university, and what are the things that I want to highlight from my experience, right? So yes, we have those very, very specific events, and we guide through that process. If a candidate is missing a document in their application, or they have questions, who should write my recommendation letter, we provide all those answers. And then, of course, there's a admission process itself where our, the candidate's application reaches the admissions team and the admissions committee. And then, that's a whole different department in the sense that they are rigorous in the selection process, and they're the ones, to ensure that the GPA and the grades and the academic standard of the candidates that we're looking for really fit what IE has as academic excellence requirements.
Of course.
And not only academic excellence, but also, again, the whole holistic approach to candidates. So they're very independent in their decision-making. And this is important to say, Veronica, because we are, as I said, looking for talent all over the world, right? And we just need to ensure that talent meets IE's requirements, right? And the admissions team are the ones to do that. And we just help them, reach there with a better knowledge, a better understanding of what we're looking for and what we want, what we think they should highlight in their process.
Definitely. And I think that's very important also to highlight the sense of, yes, you guys are helping students bring the best version of themselves into these applications.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, at university is a prestigious community that is looking for candidates not only with diverse profiles and backgrounds, but those who will help augment our community and highlight perhaps stuff that we would like to be highlighted. And it's amazing that you guys offer these workshops and resources, not only for the specific IE candidacy process, but also if they can adopt all these skills into other applications or even into their features, like the CV workshops. I remember when I was taking them, I still use some of the points that I talk with my talent and careers advisors now. So it's definitely valuable lessons that you're able to extract at different stages of your application process, but also throughout the different journeys of the university.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you talk about different journeys, and now that you're talking about, after you study, there's a whole new world there as well, right? When we, Veronica, when we speak of ourselves in the offices, we call ourselves your IE partner for life, right? Because we are there for you in the beginning where you don't know much about IE. You're just in that, research process. And then, we bring you to Madrid, Segovia, and here they take care of your student experience, the academic experience and all that. But then when you graduate, you go back to somewhere. I mean, you go elsewhere, right?
Yes.
And elsewhere, we usually have an office, and that's where, we continue building that IE community and nurturing that IE community. Not only, again, as I said, for candidates, but also for alumni. So yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you guys definitely are the superheroes of IE University.
Well,
The way that you describe it, it almost reminds me of Elastigirl, where you're collaborating with financial aid, you're collaborating with student services. You're also, as you mentioned right now, collaborating with the alumni network, always making sure that you have all these different like ways that you're stretching your resources to bring the best experience to the students and the candidates in specific. And that's wonderful.
I'm absolutely grateful to be part of a team of wonderful human beings that they work together to build this experience and make it just, better for the candidate. And I think what you're sensing is that passion.
Yes.
That passion not only for IE, the IE community. I'm an IE alumna myself. I did my MBA in 2008. And I've been with IE 12 years working at IE and this global markets team. And it's that passion about, it's really connecting with that purpose of, so our university's purpose is to foster positive change through education, innovation, and research, right?
Yes.
Well, in my team, what we do is we take that to, as many countries as possible. We take that worldwide. So that sense of you are impacting in a positive way in the world, it's just something that connects me with my purpose every day. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, let's go, impact in a positive way in the world. And when we say we're changing the world, we truly believe that. And we are bringing talent, candidates on board in that mission. And what we see in the IE community once people graduate and everything, is that sense of purpose and that sense of, being a key player in building today's societies, countries, organizations, and companies. So I think that's what you're sensing, that passion that,
Certainly. And that was such a motivational speech. I was just like, yes, inspiring, not to sound cliche, but driving innovation. And it's wonderful. And also that aspect, how you mentioned that you're there through each step, and also the alumni network, like I'm going to be an alumni soon, but also your experience as being an alumni, the IE offices are always there for you.
Yeah.
You have the different clubs as well, like the Nordic clubs perhaps, or Middle East club, but also the offices are there specifically to be like, hey, how are you doing? Like constantly reaching out to you and letting you know that, once an IE student, always an IE student.
Yeah. Yeah. And connecting you with the network, because one thing and why, I always like to say that the reason why IE having all these offices is so relevant for a candidate is because it ensures that once you graduate, no matter where you go, you're going to have a point of contact,
yes.
Right? So let's say once you graduate, you don't know if you're going to go back to Switzerland, Saudi Arabia, or if you're going to go to, I don't know, New York, right? And if you do go to New York, or if you go to Chicago, if you go to Boston, you're going to have an IE office that's not going to be the one that, recruited you when you did your process, but it's going to provide exactly the same service and the same quality of service. And it's going to put you as an alumna in the center and really, try to help you with your needs, connect you with the local companies, connect you with the local alumni clubs, connect you, if you're venturing connect you with the venture ecosystem locally. So it's really about building that IE community and nurturing it and connecting the dots, right? And connecting the dots and just making it, fully IE and again, doing things.
No, of course. And it's also, like you touched upon this, but I would like to elaborate more. That sense of knowing it's a trusted and valuable resource in the future. Because as you mentioned, like wherever you're going to go in the world, there is an IE office nearby that is tailored for your needs and wants to help you throughout this process. And whether it's connecting you to other IE alumni that you're able to foster a relationship with in terms of networking, but also just, friendships and all, but also giving you business opportunities outside of like the university itself. And that's such a wonderful experience to hear about. And I'm sure also candidates can take that value and understand, yes, we have passion driving these global markets, but we're here to tailor the offerings to you. And no matter where you are, no matter what you're looking for, if you are an IE student, you can be trusted and you can definitely count on them to help you out with any of your needs.
Absolutely. And that need might be even going back to the organization and connecting with any department here. So that's where the office also has this connecting the dots sort of responsibility that I was talking about.
No, for sure. And I love it.
I love it too.
To talk a bit more on the playful or general side, how would you describe the IE community?
The IE community is vibrant, is active, is impactful, is very aware of the fundamental role that they play, as I said before, in building better societies.
Yes.
So, those are just adjectives that are so powerful. and I think that's how I would describe the IE community.
No, I completely agree with you. And I would even add it's very inspiring to be in that type of atmosphere where you're gaining insights from this diverse community, but also you're giving your inputs and you're having your voices be heard. And it's constantly like I describe it almost like devouring all these experiences that they're offering to you. And it allows you to become a well-rounded individual, regardless of what you want to study or what you want to pursue in the future. And
I couldn't have said it better, Veronica.
Well, I'm glad.
Very, very well. If I just may add, I think, one thing that we see in the offices is, and by the way, our offices team are most of them are IE alumni. So they did an undergraduate program or a master program or even executive education program, lifelong learning. So they have lived the IE experience, in their own skin.
They practice what they preach.
Yeah, they practice what they preach, right? So what I was going to say is that what we feel is that the IE community has this je ne sais quoi, that it's like, I don't know what it is, but it just feels different. It just feels unique. It just feels, when we say like on IE Day, like we bleed blue, we bleed blue. That's exactly what it means. And it's difficult to describe. And if, we've had people in the team that, well, for different reasons, career opportunities or whatever, they leave the team. And they're always like, I miss that. That's something that we cannot name because we don't know exactly what it is.
The secret ingredient is love.
Yeah, exactly. The secret ingredient. Yeah, it could be love. I'm sure it is. But it's, also that passion of, never getting tired of learning and really, changing things and doing that, understanding everyone's uniqueness and that the difference between different people is not an obstacle. On the contrary, is an opportunity.
That's such a wonderful way to end this episode. And it's incredible. I'm going to keep that. Thank you so much, Irais Souto, for joining us today in the Going to IEU podcast. My name is Veronica Ramos, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you, Veronica.